we were stereotypically loyal to black men for a very long time. So oftentimes
still
we
are.
date outside of our range.
They keep up.
You got to keep up.
Yeah, you have to keep up.
You got to keep up.
Men can't.
And they're stuck in their ways.
So I'm gonna be the one that talks about sex, I guess, whatever. But when it's all said and done, like those, look at their kids here. Let's just say that they can keep up.
Yes.
They can keep up. You know, sometimes when you drinking, you don't just want one shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And cut. No.
That
That's
bossy,
just changing.
aggressive, angry, just that's who we are. That's what we've been embodied to. So it's like, and it's so funny because even when we're just assertive or strong, it's bossy. It's bossy.
Well, we're just being human.
Yeah.
And they have to understand we have to boss up. You know, so many of us now can go out here and get a house, start a business on our own, do whatever we got to do. So you're like, what can you bring to me to upgrade me? Because I already have what I need. You know, you have to be the icing on the cake. I have my foundation in.
I'm the cake.
I
How about that? So don't get upset because we have standards. Like, level up.
Yeah.
in relationships.
I mean, but ultimately, we desire our men, right? I mean, they are like the bomb. We all know we love, but everybody wants them. We want them. We want our own. But yeah, they need to step up at times. Not all of them. You have what sounds like a wonderful husband, and I love hearing that. I do. I love seeing black men do well, hearing about black men doing well because they take a beating.
Right.
They do. So we do. But I'm just saying they get hit hard. So I like hearing about them, and I wish more of them weren't intimidated. I know that I'm single, and I know what I encounter.
Right.
So I know that there is a lot of, for some reason, there's a perception of a woman who is independent and I'm nice, you know, so it's not like I'm one of those with what they call a bad attitude or anything like that. And
Sometimes it's intimidation.
Yeah.
But what intimidates them is the issue.
Right.
What they're intimidated by is an issue.
Yeah.
Like you're intimidated already.
Right.
From the beginning because of what you know about me, and you haven't even gotten to know me yet. But the fact that I own my own home and I have my car, really because I don't need you.
Right.
But I do. I still feel like there's a need for a man, even if you have those material things, because my bed, my house, my car is not holding me, and it's not supporting me. You know, so there is definitely a need. Just because I don't need you on my mortgage or my deed or whatever legally, I still need you. And y'all tell the truth. We can do a little bit better about making sure they know that. We can do better. We can do better. We can do better with our with the narrative we put out sometimes. And you see the memes. I got this. I got that. I don't need. That kind of thing. We don't all do it. I know us. We don't all do it, but it's a lot of it. So I'm just saying, since we're talking about it, we can do better. Can I tell you?
I think that goes back to overcorrection, and I'll give you like a common sense example that, depending on what your perspective is, you could either accept it as balance or you could categorize it as sexism, right? So, just based on the nature of what I've done the last almost 20 years, 85% of the people that have worked for me have been women. My point is that in the office, I have to be sometimes hypersensitive to not saying something that can come across as sexist, but when it's in reverse, it is perfectly okay. Give you an example. If my office manager pulls up with a case of paper, there is absolutely nothing wrong with her walking in and saying, "Can you go out and grab the case of paper for me?" Because it probably weighs 70 pounds, right? But if we had a buffet style setup here, and if I were to ask her to go and prepare my plate, it would be a problem. And not that I would want her to, but I'm just saying, I think sometimes we apply gender roles when it's convenient. So my thing is, she doesn't have to ask me to go and grab the kid. I'm just a little bit.
I would have to agree. I agree with you. Since you made it clear like that and you painted the picture like that, you're absolutely right. I think sometimes we can be like, hold up, what are you doing? Like, I don't have to do that. You know, I bring in, like you said, I bring in the money just like you. So hold on, you know. So you make a really good point at that, you know, because there's certain things I absolutely cannot do, you know, and I need that man to do for me.
Well, I think it's possible to walk that line. And I think that's because...
Of course you do.
Of course I do. Tanika and I were actually having this conversation recently because, okay, so I'm single as well. So the dynamic of dating has changed so much.
Yeah.
So much.
So much.
Because for me, I still want those traditional man, like, I still want you to pump my gas. I still want you to open my door. I still want you to pull out my chair.
You better.
And if you don't, then I'm going to think something's wrong. And if I'm taking the time to travel a distance to see you, then my expectation is that you're going to put gas in my tank. And if I am like, I don't expect to have any expenses associated with. I remember I went on a date. I'm gonna tell a story. Like to hear, here you go. I went on a date, okay, and we were shopping in the mall, and I remember that I wanted a cookie. And so I was, you know, and the guy had paid for everything, all the stuff that I wanted, and I wanted a cookie. And I went to the cookie company, and I pulled out my wallet, and he was like, "Oh, hell no." He was like, "Nah, you're not paying for this cookie." He was like, "You're not gonna come back and tell your friends that you had to pull out your wallet for anything." I have another friend who lives in Washington, D.C. She went on a date with a guy for the first time, and he handed her money. And she was like, "What is this for?" And he was like, "I know you have expenses associated with going on this date, so this is to cover the cost of your babysitter." Hell yeah, that's what I want. I want that level of consideration. So subsequently, if you come to me and you want me to fix your plate, I have no problem with that. If you're
That's who gets a plate. He gets a plate.
That man gets 2 plates. That man gets a to-go box, and he gets all kinds of stuff. So here's the deal. It's a give and take. But if I come to you and I say, I'm interested in going to Houston next weekend because I have a photo shoot with my cousin, my expectation is not that you're going to be on some, no, you can't go. Well, see, that's where we're going to bump heads. That's where we're going to have a clash. But if you want some of that traditional mixed in with some of that, you know, modern and progressive woman, then hey, that's fine. But let's have an understanding that while there are gender-based roles, let's try to iron that out up front so that there aren't any discrepancies later on.
I think a progressive woman could come from any walk of life. She could be a working woman. She could be a stay-at-home mom. She could be anything. She could be an entrepreneur. Anything, as long as she's growing,
right?
Mentally, socially, emotionally. I think that you're progressive.
Yes.
So it's like a mentality, right? It's like,
to me it is.
Yeah. That's a good point. Being a single woman of the age that I am, I will share that I do date younger, and I do find sometimes there is a difference. And as far as we were talking about those chivalrous things that we like, those traditional things, the opening the door and everything, and in the younger generation, it seems like that's more of a challenge. And so
you like aggressively shook your head when she was saying that. Where you at with it? You was like, no.
Well, the younger ones aren't doing it as much as the older ones, so I can agree to that.
Yeah,
Like
I'm just thinking as I have a 14-year-old son, I should be telling him to open my door and put my gas.
Well, that's where I was going. He should be seeing your door get open.
Right, and they're not seeing it as much as, you know.
That's the thing. So we have so many, I know families where there are no men.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of women raising their children. The fathers are absent, or they don't see them a lot. They don't see their mother being loved upon. They don't see their mother being taken care of and nurtured, you know, cared for in that way. So when they go out on a date, nobody told them, you're supposed to open that door, man. Don't you dare let that lady touch that doorknob.
You know, coming from rural Mississippi, those gentlemen seem to be much more chivalrous.
Oh, yes. Mississippi.
No matter the age.
The South.
That's true.
I pick up on contradictions, and I'm not challenging anybody's ideas.
Yes.
But I'm almost willing to, if we had 100 women in their 20s, they would speak to the maturity level of older men, and I prefer to date older, stable. And then we have women in their 30s and 40s saying, I would prefer to date younger.
Yeah,
But that's where I was when I was in my 20s.
What's up with that?
For me, it's not a preference. It's just kind of landed right there.
Yeah, it lands there. It's a
Nobody in this room looks over the age of 30 anyway. So we attract younger men.
I agree.
You
That's
know,
true.
So that's the thing. And I mean, it's kind of like, well,
And I think we're more open to it these days, though, right? Because I remember when I was younger, it was kind of like, oh, what? You know, people would make taboo. It was the other way around. The man was the older person. That's traditionally the way it goes. And the lady who was with, so you know, that's a cougar, right? Who was with a younger man, and that's a term that came to be used, and then people had their own definition, was when you're supporting him financially and all these different things. But preferring a younger man, I know as I, you know, got deeper into my 30s and all of that, it's just that I'm a very energetic person. I mean, that's true. That has a well, but generally speaking,
and that's an exception.
Yeah, it is. Generally speaking,
fix his plate.
Because he gets a plate and dessert.
He makes all his shortcomings in that area.
Well, I mean, come on.
It's just think that there needs to be consistency.
Yes.
Because even though you start off with that communication and you set the expectation, it doesn't stop there. I've been out of the dating game almost 20 years, so I can't speak to what you ladies go through, but for me and my husband, it's like, okay, you did this when we were dating, but then you stopped, so what's up? You know, or what is it that I'm not doing that is not pleasing to you, so let's really talk about it and let's get back on the right foot. So it's really
communication,
like you need to be consistent.
That's what I was about. It changes. I was married at one time and for a very long time. And yes, you try different things. People grow, people change. So you have to talk about it and come up with another plan. It's just like any other thing that you do in life, right? You have to come up with something that's working for you in the moment and at that time. Yes. Right. But when you say inconsistent, there are a lot of guys who are consistently inconsistent. And that is the dating game. So having been married for a long time myself and now being, you know, a single person and dating, that is what I find the thing that I dislike the most. And it's just like you meet so many people who aren't worth your time, but they want to act like they are because they want to get further with you. And so you have to, for me, when I notice that factor, that inconsistent factor, that's an X factor. Yes, come on. I do not have time to wait. Anyone who knows me knows I'm on a journey to happiness. So if you're in the way of that, that's your ticket out.